Hi, Sandy here, and this is Shhh again, our weekly little meditation, just 15 minutes where you can de-stress, relax, reflect, get a little bit of space to yourself, space to breathe a little bit. And today's meditation is about light and dark. We often think about difficult times as dark times, and we also often talk about light as something hopeful. And yet maybe when we think about it a bit more, the interaction between the two is a bit more complicated. Maybe there's a bit more shadow, a bit more grey, a little bit more edges, light and dark, to what we experience. I've been really struck this week hearing about people talking about positives in the midst of a very difficult time for our country and many others too. And when people have been talking about really difficult things that they've been going through, they've been lightened by the actions and kindness of others. So we're going to think about light and dark. But let's start by just settling ourselves. So find yourself in your chair. Settle your back in to your chair, get comfortable. And then we're just going to body scan to start. So just starting with your head, scanning all the way down through your shoulders. Just be aware of any tension. Be aware of anything that needs to be relaxed, anywhere where you're holding any stress. Just scan down through your body, into your waist and down your legs, into your feet. And as much as you can, just settle. Find some peace, find some balance, find some space. Everything you're holding and everything that is going on right now, you don't need to hold just for this next 15 minutes. You can be with yourself, you can settle. Even the urgent can wait just this little time. And be willing to just let go of all the different tensions as much as you're able to, and just settle. I'd like us to think about light in our lives. I've got this little glittery doorknob here. It's just as a way of showing you how light affects an object. If I bring this candle forward and you begin to see how it dances, how light illuminates the object, how different angles of light do different things. And there'll be things that you've got in your house that can help you reflect on that. Maybe find something around you at some point today that helps you to do that. Light creates definition sometimes, but it also illuminates different things. The funny thing is that dark can sometimes do that too. In the darkness, our eyes become more attuned. In the darkness, sometimes things take on greater definition. Martin Luther King said it's only when it's dark enough can you see the stars. So with where you're feeling right now and how you're feeling right now, enable you yourself to see light, to see hope. If it feels dark, allow that to be dark enough that you can see the stars. What are the good things? What are the things that I can hope for? This will pass. Then I'm learning new things about family. Maybe I'm actually being forced to slow down. Or maybe you don't feel like you're slowing down at all. Maybe you're working in a key service and you're flat out, but you're seeing such generosity and kindness from people that there's light. Allow yourself to see some light. I lit a candle today because this is a symbol that many people use to think about hope. On Sunday, People of faith around the world lit candles and put them in their windows at 7 o'clock as a statement of hope. Does that change anything? Maybe not. But there's something about this light and this little flickering light in this candle that speaks to us about hope. This is something people do around the world. So I want us to take some time to think about the fragility of that light, the hope of light. Maybe if you have a candle at home, go light one. Why is it that that's so attractive? Why is it that it draws us in so much? Maybe that's what our hope feels like, that little dancing light. Fragile, easily put out, and yet with a glow, with a light that it can illuminate a room. Anne Frank said, "Look how a single candle can both defy and define the darkness." Look how a single candle can both defy and define the darkness. Defy and define. It both fights it. It's an act of resistance to light a light and say, I will hope. But also, the darkness somehow is defined by it. We can see clearer. Leonard Cohen said it another way. He said, there's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. So even in these darkest times, cracks reveal light. Things break through. So I'm going to ask you to reflect with me, and this may be quite hard, but I'd like you to try and spend some time to reflect with light and hope and gratefulness. As many studies suggest this is really good for us, but it's hard when life is hard. Think about your day. What are you thankful for? Maybe you're thankful for all those things that we've taken for granted. We've never really thought about that much. That somebody comes and collects my bins, that delivery drivers are getting food to supermarkets, the NHS, and that we can be cared for by amazing people. Family, a roof over our head. Maybe your gratefulness is from something you've seen or experienced, or something kind that's been done for you. Maybe you're in isolation and your neighbours have been kind and supportive to you. Just scan your day, maybe the last couple of days, and allow cracks to appear in the struggle so that you can see light, you can see hope, you can see gratefulness. It's odd, the darkness doesn't make it different, stronger, but it does help you to see the light a little clearer. You have to work a bit harder because we're all feeling a little bit shell-shocked by what's happening in different ways. But light can bring some perspective and say, you know what? We can be okay. We can be okay here. And in the midst of this, there are things that can light my heart, that can make me smile, that can make me grateful. And there are things that I can do to give that to other people as well. And that's a wonderful joy. I often get people in reflections to do something around tension. So I wonder if you'll do this with me. Take one hand and interlock it with the other hand like this and pull it quite tight. So you've got tension and then you relax it. Tension and relax it. And the tension I'd like you to think about as you do this is between light and dark. People often say in dark times we learn things. There's a tension in that because I don't want to learn that lesson really. I want all my days to be light, and yet the tension is I know they're not. So just a few times of just pulling on your hands. And as you do that and you think about that tension, think about the interaction between light and dark. And that it's not a clear cut as dark is bad and light is good, but that actually we can grow, learn, flourish, have good well-being in both of those places. Let the light both defy and define your darkness. I'm going to read a poem now. It's one we put together for a set of reflections we did a few weeks ago, but it feels quite kind of apposite for where we are and what's going on. It's called Dark Times, but it's a bit more cheerful than that, hopefully. And it goes like this. Dark nights for darkening sour days. I'm alone in this enveloping gloom. The shouts of the 2 a.m. pub crawl chime like a heavy dirge of lost hopes. Here I am listening to blacklight orchestra. The layered chimes of loss and hurt harmonise with the chords of bereavement. The lack of light numbs and comforts together. Sorrow, my frequent calling clumsy friend. You're never a pleasure, but always loyal. Your grief works hard at my heart, yet somehow brings balm to my soul. Dark nights are the prelude to lit mornings. Hope is my candle, bursting into light. I'll read it again. Dark nights for darkening sour days. I am alone in this enveloping gloom. The shouts of the 2 a.m. pub crawl chime like a heavy dirge of lost hopes. Here I am listening to blacklight orchestra. The layered chimes of loss and hurt harmonise with the chords of bereavement. The lack of light numbs and comforts together. Sorrow, my frequent calling clumsy friend. You're never a pleasure, but always loyal. Your grief works hard at my heart, yet somehow brings balm to my soul. Dark nights are the prelude to lit mornings. Hope is my candle, bursting into light. So I'd like us to reflect now just for the last few minutes of this meditation, just quietly, on our light, on our dark, and particularly on whatever will be a hope candle for you. Whatever little bit of what's going on right now might represent this flickering light that brings some hope. So we're just going to leave some quiet, and then I'll draw us together with a little thought at the end. Maybe if you want to, think on a light or a candle in your imagination, or maybe look at one if you've got one near you. Think on light, think on dark, think on hope. Allow hope to be lit in you. Think on light both defying and defining your darkness. And what you hope as an act of resistance today. To say, I'm not going to be defined by this, but instead I will flourish, I will grow. And how might what you do define that around you, give you perspective, allow you to see good, gratefulness, joy in the midst of difficult times. If you want to do something else, light a candle and have another 5 minutes of quiet sometime. today or this week to reflect on what's going on and how you feel, and find light, find hope. I'm wearing a little badge, which I'm wearing every day. It's got a little light bulb on it, just as a way of me saying I'm going to find light, I'm going to find hope in everything around me right now. You might want to do something like that. Otherwise, look after yourselves, stay very safe. Hope everything's going well where you are, and we'll be back with another Shhh on Wednesday next week. Take care. Bye-bye.